Hello Year 2, welcome to your weekly email and your video for home learning. You should have received the information on parent mail, and then you're obviously watching this video through our YouTube channel. Thank you to all the children that have sent their home learning in again this week. We've had lots of videos, we've had photos, drawings, information about what you've been doing. Sounds like you're all keeping really busy. Remember, those emails really help us to choose our star and learner every week. So please send in as many as you can. We should be hearing from each of you every week. It doesn't matter what point in the week, so long as it's before the next home learning that is sent out. That gives us a chance to see who's sent everything in and choose our star and learner. So it'd be lovely to hear from you next week to see what you have been learning. I'm going to use my laptop to help me a little bit today, just because there's a lot of information to go through. I don't want to miss anything out. And so let's take a look first at our English. Okay, our English learning today then is superhero character description for this week. Have you ever wanted to be a superhero? I know a lot of you like your superheroes. This is your chance to create your own, and you can pretend to be that superhero. You might want to start with a drawing. Maybe that will give you some ideas. You might want to take all the different parts of different superheroes to make your own, or come up with your very own unique superhero. Once you've got that drawing or that picture in your mind of what you're going to look like, what you're going to be, use the diagram that we've got here to help you just structure then your writing. We'd like to see writing in sentences this week, please. At least 2 sentences for each part that I go through now. So my superhero name is, you could explain maybe your choice of your superhero name, why you've chosen it. My special powers are, so have a think, have you got x-ray vision? Are you flying? Are you ultra strong? You could then say how I became a superhero and got my special power. Maybe something amazing happened to you and you turned into a superhero, okay? Or you can then add at the bottom a bit of a description using your adjectives to help you describe, forming your noun phrases. We think as well, this is a good opportunity for you to practice those exclamation skills. We know how great you were with using those in your writing before we ended school a few weeks ago. For the lockdown. So they start with what a fantastic superhero I am, or it could be how fast I am. So use then the exclamation at the end to finish off your exclamation sentence. We'd like you then to have a little look. We've got some words here to help you. So we've got brave, noble, reliable. Fill that description in with lots of adjectives so that we get to know just what a marvellous superhero you are. So for English, you're writing a bit of a character description, but think of how you could set it out a bit differently to the normal under different headings. So being a superhero, what would you be like? Right, let's have a look at our maths. Now, we have done this kind of maths in school before, and you are creating your own block diagram. So block diagrams are a great way of representing or showing information that's being collected. Here we've got an example where, imagine a class was asked, what pet have you got? Underneath we've got mouse, cat, rabbit, fish, dog and hamster. And then the information that was collected has been represented in these and shown in these coloured bars. So I know for the mouse, I've got 1, 2 blocks. So 2 people from that group had a mouse. Then when I look at my cat, I've got 4 blocks in red. So my 1, 2, 3, 4 means 4 people have got a cat. So you can create your own block graph, but you'll be using some images here. So first of all, you've got to have a look at what the various images are, and you'll need to start by drawing your axes. That just is the maths vocabulary word for the line that goes down the left and across the bottom of a block diagram. When you draw, you can use the example that we've given to help you. When you've drawn your line going down, you need to make sure you've got 6 equal parts divided on that line so that you can then fill in the blocks to make your block diagram. Okay, so you draw a line down the left and label it from 0 up to 6 in equal spaces. You can then draw a line going across the bottom and either have a go at drawing your little superhero image like we've given you on the sheet, or you might want to just label and say it's figure 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D might be easier to do. Once you've done that, you need to count the number of images. So the first one is the POW shout out. So how many POW shout outs are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've given you a little example and it goes up to number 4 to show that there are 4 images there. Okay, so you're then moving on to the next image. You've got your flying blue superhero. How many of those? 1, 2, 3. You would then colour in 3 of the blocks going up there. Okay, so you are creating a block diagram to help you show how many of each of those symbols there are. Okay, after that, when you have got it, it helps when you look at this one about the pets. It helps us to read the information really quickly. So here, without doing any counting, I know the most popular pet was my tallest block. It's my blue block here. So when I come and travel down my blue block, I know that that's labelled dogs. So the most popular pet for that investigation of data was a dog. And if I go up, I could either count the blocks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 children had dogs. So it saves me having to count individually the individual pet types. I can just at a glance see which one had the most. Same works for which has the least. Well, there's only 1 block there and the rest are all taller. So my 1 block was for the hamster. So just 1 person had a hamster in that data collection. So when you have done your own, you will have a completed block diagram that will look similar to this. And you can then use that information on your block diagram to answer a few questions that we've listed here. So which picture was the most common? So you'd be looking for the tallest bar or block. Which picture was the least common? So like I saw there was one that was really short. That showed me the least. How many pictures were there in total? Can you add up all the blocks or the bars? How many superheroes are wearing capes? So you need to find out which ones they were and add up the totals of blocks that you've coloured in. All right then. So for your maths this week, you're making a block diagram using, that's your information, and you're showing it in bars, totaling up how many of the different pictures there are and drawing the diagram above it. Okay, let's move on then to the final part, and it is science. It's called superhero parachutes. I would like you this week to have a look around your house. Are there some objects or materials that you can put together to make a parachute for a superhero? Superheroes are great at flying, but sometimes in an emergency they might need to have a bit of help, so they might need a parachute so that they can land down. Now it's important that your parachute comes down in a straight, steady line, not that it just goes flat to the floor, not going off at an angle, but just gently hovers down and lands gently. So it might mean that when you've had your first go and test it, see if it works, you might have to modify it, change it a little bit to improve how it floats down to the ground. So it's an investigation for you to find out how you can make the best flying parachute. So I've given a few pictures for you to go by. You could make, like this one has got a little pipe cleaner man. Some of you might remember some of the stretchy characters that you can get, some of the little play characters. A Lego man might be a great idea. It could just be a ball of something that you attach on. So then attaching it with string or with wool or with anything that you've got around the house that serves that function. Here's a nice idea. It's a paper case from a little cupcake that they've just turned upside down. Here is like a little cleaning cloth. You might use a tissue or a paper towel. Perhaps you could experiment with different weights of material. So is a heavier material less likely to float down than a lighter material? Being science, you investigate, you make those changes to see how you can improve how that parachute flies. So a few questions to get you started. I'm going to read them off the screen because I can't remember them all at once. A few questions are, what material will your parachute be made of? That's a good starting point, isn't it, for your parachute? What shape will your parachute be? How will you attach the parachute to your superhero? So if you've got a little figure that's going to be flying down, how is he going to hang on tight to the parachute? What will you use as your superhero? How will you test if it works? How will you get up high enough safely? You might need some adult help with that. Does the parachute open as it goes down, or is it already open? Does the person travel fast or slow? We want it to kind of glide down steadily. Do they spin? Sometimes when you make these, they tend to spin around. Can you get it where it travels in a bit of a straighter line? Okay, so bit of tweaking will have to happen. It may not go well the first time, but that's what a great science investigation is all about, changing those variables to see how you can improve something. Once you've had a good go and you've been successful, we'd like you to write down what you did, how you made your parachute, how you tested it, and what the best design was for your design. And it'd be interesting to see what you come up with. What helped it to float down in a good straight line and not just boom, straight down, land on the floor. So it's going to glide. Okay, if you wanted to take it a step further, maybe find out how does the parachute part help it come down in a steady way. Maybe you can investigate and understand what it is doing. Okay, so 3 lovely activities for you to get stuck in into your learning this week. We have got, we'll just recap, a superhero description, making up your own superhero and writing in sentences all about him. Creating your own block diagram. Again, you might go onto BBC Bite Size if you want to understand these a little bit more. We have done them in school, but just use the examples we've given you and look for information on BBC Bite Size if you need any more information on how to do those. And then at the very bottom, we've got your superhero parachute. I'm really looking forward, and Mrs. King and Mrs. Jones, to hearing all about your learning for this week. So please send in those emails, keep them going, and we'll hear from you soon. Okay, goodbye for now. Bye.